With over 23 acres of land, almost 200 different species of animals, and one of the top 5 most visited locations in the Palm Beaches, this is the Palm Beach Zoo. I'm here with Kelly McCorry, who is the carnivore zoologist here at the Palm Beach Zoo. And we're here to meet a very special inhabitant of the zoo. But before we do that, we're going to put on our COVID-19 masks. A lot of people don't realize that big cats are actually very susceptible to COVID, and so we want to exercise as much caution as possible. Let's go meet Sassy, the Florida panther. So Kelly, what are we doing here?
So this is just some basic positive reinforcement training. It's all operant conditioning. It's all stuff that we use to kind of help take better care of them. Since I don't go into this enclosure with her, it's important that she comes over nice and close to me. I can look all over her body, make sure everything's okay. So actually right now the position that she's in is a really great positioning there. So how she's close to the mesh like that. That's a great way for our vet staff to come down, and we can do voluntary injections on her. We can actually draw blood from her tail right there.
Wow.
So like right how her hip is just along the mesh there. So that's something she learned voluntarily to kind of help with our vet staff.
And what are you feeding her? Is that filet steak?
Yeah, basically, yes. So they are carnivores, so she is eating a beef chunk, but they do get a variety of different things to eat, so different prey items. So chicken, fish, rabbits, all kinds of prey items, and meat. They get bones as well. So we try to give them a variety of things to mimic what they would have in the wild.
Right.
Target?
She looks in great condition,
Good,
doesn't she?
yeah, she is. She's about 6 years old now.
Okay.
Yeah, good girl. That's me. Up. Good. So having her move into different body positions is also a really great way to get a good look all over her. Down. Good.
Now Kelly, is she just a regular panther, or is she a Florida subspecies
This
panther?
is a Florida panther. So Sassy was originally born in the wild. Unfortunately, her mom was hit by a car when she was about 4 months old. So she was left orphaned very young and taken in by Fish and Wildlife. So they were able to take her over to the Naples Zoo, and they did some rehab with her there. And then that's when she was deemed non-releasable. So we were able to bring her here once we had our new panther enclosure set up. So she's been here ever since she was about 6 months old. Florida panthers right now are very critically endangered in the wild. There's only about 200 of them that exist left here in Florida. So it's really important to have Florida panthers still here because they are such a huge predator species that help to control a lot of the lower prey species in Florida. Because there's so few of them, and unfortunately they get hit by cars and habitat loss and things like that, animals like Sassy wouldn't have had a home and she wouldn't have survived. So being able to have her here is a great way for people to be able to see a Florida panther, because they most likely would never see one in the wild. So it's a great way to have that connection with her and for people to be able to see that and hopefully be inspired to want to save them too.
Kelly, thank you so much for telling us a little bit more about the Florida panther.
Of course, you're welcome.
And the plight that it faces in Florida. You know, often we are here living in Florida. Very few people actually realize that we've got such a special species right here in South Florida. So thank you so much for telling us.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming out to meet Sassy and hear her story.
Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the welcome to the jungle. Welcome to welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the welcome to the jungle. Welcome to
Well, moving on from fur to scales, I'm here with Mike, the general curator of the Palm Beach Zoo, and we're here to meet Marty, the leucistic alligator. Can you tell us a little bit more about Marty?
Yeah, so Marty came to us from the bayous of Louisiana. Him and all of his brothers were originally found by a fisherman who saw all these white alligators coming out of a nest. And a white alligator in the wild isn't going to last too long. So he was able to rescue them and take them to the Audubon Zoo, who then grew them up and then was able to loan them out to a number of institutions. So Marty came to us back in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina, and he's been with us ever since.
Oh, that's amazing. And tell us a little bit about the difference between leucistic, and albino.
Yeah, so albino means that they don't have any pigmentation whatsoever in their body. So an albino animal will be white, maybe some pink, and have pink eyes. A leucistic animal, the easiest way to think of it is that they have spots, but they've just got one great big white spot. And so on Marty, you'll notice he's got freckles on his nose, so he's got dark spots on his nose, and then he has beautiful blue eyes.
And we're about to meet somebody right now who is going to take us up close and personal with Marty. Meet Emily, who takes care of Marty and the other reptilians here at the Palm Beach Zoo. Stacy, Emily, and Mike are with the leucistic alligator Marty in his den.
Moving it so he'll do it. Good boy. Watch out, yeah. You gotta stop moving. Good. Very nice.
Nice.
Marty is a very fun animal to work with. He really loves doing behaviors and training. He did some A to B training with Stacy. This is our main station A, where Marty will come in. He'll get the first leg of the training for targeting, and then he'll swoop over to the other station, which is B station, to Stacy, and then he gets a treat. We also reinforce him with a good boy, so he gets reinforced 2 different ways. Sometimes we don't reinforce with food, we'll reinforce with just a verbal cue. What a good boy. The A to B behaviors is great because we can have the vet stand outside and look at him swimming and check all of his skin. And then when we do other behaviors such as the open behavior, we can check his mouth and all the tissues that are in there. We also do a lot of enrichment with Marty, and he does have a lot of play behaviors that he elicits. They're very intelligent animals.
If he eats the camera, we won't hold you liable.
We definitely don't want to.
Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to.
And now we're about to meet another resident of Florida, the North American river otter, and we're here with Grayson, who's the carnivore zoologist here at the Palm Beach Zoo. Tell us a little bit about these river otters.
We have Luna and Ollie here. They are our breeding pair of North American river otters. This year they will be turning 5 years old. Up. Good. So obviously they're extremely observant. They're very aware that you guys are hanging out in here. Their feet are webbed, but they are also impressive diggers. See those claws? North American river otters are one of the most versatile species of otter. You can find them all the way up into Alaska, but you see them all the way down here. You can see them in the Keys. So they have an undercoat and an upper coat that allows their body to really regulate their temperature. So it cools them off, but also keeps them really warm and insulated. So even though they're super cute, they're definitely not a cuddly animal. Their teeth are about as sharp as a domestic cat's, and their jaw strength's comparable to a decent sized dog like a German Shepherd. They are an impressive little carnivore. So, you know, if you see them, give them their space because they are very smart. They're very curious. A lot of people around here will see them on their docks.
Yep, I have one in my dog.
Yeah.
And so in the wild, Grayson, they'll be feeding on predominantly bigger fish than that if possible?
If possible. They are very industrious. It's what they can catch. So they will also eat a lot of shellfish, crabs, but honestly, anything that they can catch. They are opportunistic when it comes to feeding, but the most bang for your buck is always going to be fish.
And they seem as though they're pretty intelligent, right?
They are. Yes, they are extremely intelligent. Station. Good.
And Grayson, tell us a little bit about how they are adapted to living an aquatic lifestyle or a semi-aquatic lifestyle. If you look at their tails, I can see they've got that dorso-ventrally flattened tail.
Yes. They've also got all 4 of their feet are webbed, and then they can also close their nostrils and their ears when they're swimming underwater, and they can hold their breath for a lot longer than we can.
The enrichment and the habitat in the zoo, they're so amazing for all the animals, aren't they?
Absolutely. We spend a good portion of our day making sure that our animals have a lot of enrichment, as well as the guests are just as much enrichment for our younger otters. Peach and Yoshi here, they enjoy playing with They enjoy playing with people that come to visit them just as much as the enrichment that we give them.
Well, that's great. Look at them, they're so cute. So these are a brother and a sister?
A brother and a sister pair, so they are a companion pair.
Wow, and it's great to get this perspective where you're looking underwater because you can see their whole life history, right?
Yes.
So from the other enclosure, you're looking at them from above, you're getting the terrestrial feeling, and now we've got the underwater feeling with them, which is great.
Well, and you can see how well adapted they are for being in the water. They move very quickly.
These otters at the Palm Beach Zoo are just another part of the wild Palm Beaches.